Hello, hello! Nibba2 here, and welcome back to the ever-growing world of my Digimon headcanons and what-ifs. In today's video, we will be diving into a brand new crossover universe. That's right, we are trading the digital world for San Francisco in the 90s? We are answering the age-old question, what if the characters from Charmed had Digimon partners? Yeah, so this is a wild concept, as Charmed is based out of reality as much as it's based out of the mystical, but who cares? Let's have some fun. Not only will we be assigning partners to our Charmed ones, but also other characters, such as guides and true loves, misguided students, and certain villains. Starting with the eldest Halliwell daughter, Prudence. Prue, the namesake for my precious dog, actually is a strong-willed, intelligent, and eventually powerful witch. When figuring out the partner lines for everyone in this video, I wanted to focus not just on their stories, but also their powers and growth. Our super witch here was a particularly powerful telekinetic who would eventually gain the ability to astral project as well. For our sisters, I wanted to use the Magical Witch V-Pets. Though technically not a Digivice, these bad boys were the toys that held the key to the magical world of Witchelny, where Wizardmon and several others were from, so I thought it was perfect. Prue, with her Digi-Grimoire in hand, meets her fated partner, Tabimon. This recolor of Mikemon is meant to play into the whole witch's familiar thing, to give her the perfect cat partner, though I did power it down to rookie level. Tabimon are fiercely loyal Digimon to the witches they accompany. Known for their lack of physical prowess, they more often fight using psychic warfare. Now, Tabimon will digivolve to Wickamon. We all had to know that a Witchmon variant was going to show up in the show about witches. Wickamon is a teacher of magic, helping budding magical Digimon gain their footing with the craft. So I wasn't planning to do quests here, but instead focus on the source of their powers, so to speak. So Prue will eventually discover her piece of 3. This portion of the Triquetra and part of the power of 3 represents her connection to the Halliwell powers. Knowing her power, Wickamon is able to harness this to digivolve to Bastemon, a powerful witchy catwoman who needs no real alterations. Now, major spoilers for season 3, but this show is like 25, 27, whatever years old, so you're bad. But Prue does tragically die at the hands of Shax, halting her line at ultimate level, since she's only there till season 3, for now. Anyways, this leaves Prue partnered with a Tabimon who digivolves to Wickamon and then Bastemon. But now for our mediating middle sister. Piper Halliwell is a strong yet anxious woman. Her powers often center around her anxieties and panics in the early seasons. Piper is able to ultimately manipulate the molecules in a given area, effectively allowing her to slow things down and freeze time, speed things up and cause combustions, hyper-focus on timing to control temperatures and physically freeze or melt things, and eventually manipulate air molecules to harness a sort of pseudo-telekinesis. That's right, guys. For those of you that didn't know, the Charm TV show continued on for a few more seasons in the form of comic books. I'll dive into some topics from the comics today, but we'll leave a lot unspoken so people can go out and read them for themselves. So, Piper, with her Digi-Grimoire in hand, is introduced to the shy but kind Bluecomon. Heads up for this line, I did no recolors, as every mon I wanted to use was already solid. Bluecomon is a cute Digimon who obviously nods to her core ability to freeze time, but also works as a cute reference to the time her son conjured a dragon. Bluecomon will digivolve to Sorcerymon, a great magical mon for our charmed one. Sorcerymon continues our themes of ice and freezing. Now, Piper will of course unlock her piece of 3. She helps keep the family afloat and is always a stable leg to stand on for the girls. With this power though, Sorcerymon can now digivolve to Pangeamon. This cool Leomon variant works as a funny nod to her husband Leo, but more on that later. Pangeamon will finally digivolve to Hexablaumon, completing its line. This magical knight hails from Witchelny, which creates the perfect bookend to this partner line. So Piper is partnered with a blue Komon who will digivolve to Sorcerymon, Pangeamon, and Hexablaumon. Where Piper started out stable, if not a touch anxious, Phoebe was a precognitive witch who could see glimpses of the future in her premonitions, and could eventually levitate using what I personally believe to be an extension of a different power, but more on that in a moment. She could also briefly wield demonic flames, but eventually gained her core power, empathic intuition. Now, it is somewhat stated in the comics, but not super directly. I believe Phoebe's power was always empathy to her core. Her levitation was a physical harnessing of her empathic energy, and I believe her premonitions came from sensing strong emotions that would be, such as fear, pain, and joy. Her empathic abilities develop further, though, as she's able to channel other people's powers via empathic mimicry, overload an individual's mind with their own thoughts and emotions through empathic reflection, and finally master the energy within her to full-on fly. This Digigrimoire owner finds herself partnered with a Seermon. This Atmon, which is of course a reworked Tellermon, is the most obvious of references to Phoebe's premonition abilities. Seermon will further these themes though as they digivolve to Predictomon. This recolor of Tarotmon, who I'm glad to have back on the channel, is a fun way to focus on the different styles of divination magic there are, and one I particularly am fond of, so couldn't love this more. Now, obviously being the youngest sister, Phoebe will eventually tap into the last piece of three. Her fiery power adds the feistiness and determination the sisters need. So, Predictomon will use this power to digivolve to Empathymon. A recolor of the fantastic Sanzomon works twofold for me. Like I said before, I genuinely believe Phoebe's powers always stemmed from her empathic intuition, so I like pivoting the focus of her line here, but it also works to reference her hand-to-hand combat. Empathymon are a solitary Digimon known for their combat prowess. They isolate themselves to shield their minds from the powerful emotions of others, as they are often untrained in their empathic intuitions, much like our Phoebe. Empathymon will master this power though, as she digivolves to Serenitymon, a new take on Shakamon, who I use often enough here. Serenitymon is a master of combat, magic, and empathy. As Phoebe masters her abilities, so does her partner. This journey takes Phoebe and her partner Seermon to new heights as she digivolves to Predictomon, Empathymon, and Serenitymon. Now, major spoiler alert for a series from the 90s once again, but Prue does indeed die at the end of Season 3. Yes, we've stated this. Piper and Phoebe are soon introduced, though, to their long-lost half-sister, Paige Matthews. This beautiful woman was the daughter of Patty Halliwell and her whitelighter, Sam. This altered the way her powers would develop. The prophecy, that is weirdly only ever referenced a couple times, stated that the third sister could move objects with her mind. This combined with Paige's whitelighter side to gift her the power of telekinetic orbing. Paige could call out to an object and summon it to her within a swirl of orbs. This, of course, is a play on her other whitelighter powers, such as orbing, the way whitelighters teleport, restoration, the gift of healing people that personally I had canon as them reversing time in a small area, a la Orihime from Bleach. This isn't in the script that I wrote, but I do want to mention the reason why I believe this is because in the early seasons, we see Leo. Obviously, we see him healing everybody with, when they're injured, but we also see him refill a glass of water using what looks to be a similar power. And we also see him heal or repair the P3 sign after they're introduced to Paige. So it feels as though he's not just healing things, he is reversing time within a specific area. So that's just my own headcanon. There's probably no real basis for it, but I like it, and it makes it a more unique power than just, ooh, I heal. Anyways, she also can glamour, which is basically just fancy shape-shifting. Photokinesis, a display of light manipulation, and her power in the comics, orb shielding. This shows her projecting a force field at will to block attacks. Now, like her sisters, she does possess a Digigrimoire and is reintroduced to who she thought was an imaginary friend from her childhood, Magicianmon. I recolored Trickmon to give her a cool magic and trickster type partner. Magicianmon are known for their sleight of hand skills and often get in trouble for playing pranks on much stronger Digimon. This also is kind of a cute nod to when Paige is kind of, I'm trying to think of the episode. It's where they're put into their perfect worlds and Paige wishes that she could just be a witch out in the open. There's a cute little scene where she is volunteering or working at a old folks home and she's helping an old, one of the old patients there put on a magic show and she has to use her own powers to kind of help him because he's old. Anyways, Magicianmon will eventually digivolve to Artistrymon. I used this Effectmon variant to reference Paige's passion for art and painting that is talked about a few times before being completely dropped altogether. You can tell they were probably trying to figure out who Paige was going to be character-wise, and so this was possibly one of the early ideas for her. Now, Paige has taken up the mantle of Charmed One in Prue's absence, but Prue isn't being replaced, so Paige has to find her own piece of three. Paige helps bring the Charmed Ones back together on so many different occasions, and honestly, she doesn't get enough love for that. So here is said love. Artistrymon feels this love too, as she digivolves to Clownmon. I recolored Vegasmon to give us, well, a clown. Which I know is a touch weird, but okay, I have a goal here. I'm not only referencing her fun-loving nature, but also her childhood toy, which was of a what? Huh? A clown! Anyways, Clownmon are kind Digimon, always helping young Digimon in their times of great sadness. From here, Clownmon will digivolve to Slappymon. Yeah, we completed the clown theme to reference her childhood plushie, Slappy the Clown. I don't know why I latched onto this theme, especially this Piedmon recolor, but I really did, and I kind of just shaped everything else around it. Slappymon are masters of tricks and pranks, but unlike their nefarious cousins, they use their talents for joy and laughter. So, Paige's not-so-imaginary friend is actually a Magicianmon, who will become Artistrymon, then Clownmon, and lastly Slappymon. Also, I am truly not sure why my mustache keeps deciding to just curl up and away. Do they make, like, mustache, like, gel? Is that a thing? It wants to be, like, an evil prospector twirly mustache so bad. So, the sisters eventually take on a young woman as an apprentice of sorts to their coven. This beautiful girl, Billy Jenkins, joins the sisters with a big bang. Get it? The Big Bang Theory? I don't like that show, but I do love her, so it's fine. Hot take, I love Billy. I think she had a fun part in the sisters' lives, introducing another powerful witch to our Charmed Ones, and allowing all of them to take on a mentorship role. Now, this also might have to do with the fact that I just love Kaylee Cuoco, but Billy has some powers of her own. She's introduced with a solid and dearly missed power, telekinesis. But she's also gifted with enhanced agility, most likely aided by her natural telekinetic abilities, and projection, the immensely powerful ability to bring her thoughts into reality. Upon their joining, it is revealed Billy also has a device that works similar to the Halliwell Digi Grimoires. Billy also comes with a partner in tow, of course, Illusorymon. This recolored Piantomon possesses a Green Lantern-esque ability to project a light energy into shapes and constructs to distract and combat opponents. I actually love Piantomon and hope we get to see it more in media, as it was a contest-mon whose design was thought up by a fan. Illusorymon will digivolve to Projectomon. Another recolor, this time of Bitmon, uses its ears to project images and illusions to confuse and combat foes. They spin them like a fan, where in the spinning, lights and magic creates these projections. Think like those fans people use in Doctor Strange cosplays. Is that something that people know about? Am I just like, do I just have a really hyper-specific For You page? Maybe. Anyways, Billy is eventually reunited with her sister, more on her soon, and is reintroduced to the power of the Jenkins Coven, a power brought about from their bond as sisters, which manifests individually in Billy. Using this power, Billy's Projectomon will digivolve to War Projectomon. Her sister's negative influence starts Billy down a path of destruction and combat, so her partner, this now recolored Cressamon, feels this influence as well, turning away from traditional magic and focusing on battle magic. War Projectomon projects large copies of known Digimon to combat opponents. War Projectomon will be pushed to her limits, though, when the sisters use the Hollow to finally become Militiamon, a Jiaogumon variant who is not only a promising combatant, but is also able to conjure up projections of many different Digimon at once, giving the forces of evil the army they desire. So, Billy is led down a journey of betrayal and confusion as her partner Illusorimon digivolves to Projectomon, War Projectomon, and lastly, Militiamon. But let's meet the woman who leads her down this path. Christy Jenkins, whom, in comparison to Billy, I hate. This misguided force of evil was a young witch kidnapped by demons and raised in captivity, so she can't fully be blamed for her actions, but I guess. Christy is a decently talented telepath who is revealed to be half witch, half fire starter, which eventually evolves to allow her to project optical firebolts, I guess. So, Christy, of course, comes with the matching Digivice to Billy's. The twin Digivices were great for these two, so I just had to do it. Christy is partnered with Rurimon. This adorable mon needs no recoloring for the journey I want to take it on. Like Piantomon, this is another one of the contest mons imagined by fans. I chose this mon to reference both Christy's witchcraft and fire starting. Rurimon will digivolve to Startermon. I recolored Flare Wizardmon to create a continuation of Christy's fire starting abilities. Startermon are known for being volatile creatures with a knack for starting fights and fires. So Christy is of course made aware of the Jenkins family power, the sun granting her a powerful source to harness. With said power, Startermon will digivolve to War Startermon. Similar to Billy's partner, this recolor of Mistymon focuses on battle and force, which is perfect for War Startermon. These Digimon are known for being present in many a national conflict in the digital world. War Startermon will find its true nefarious purpose as it uses the Hollow to digivolve to Fire Startermon. Obviously, the name for this Megidramon recolor was too easy to choose. This variant works as a perfect final Evo for our finale villain. Fire Startermon are Digimon of legend, thought to only arrive in times of great calamity to, well, make things worse. So, Christy is partnered with a Rurimon, who will become Startermon, War Startermon, and Fire Startermon. But we must take a moment to explore something aside our usual lines. The brainwashed Christy and her misguided sister Billy, desperate to be with the only family she has left, come together to form the Jenkins Coven. With the power of the Hollow, the two sisters and their partners, With the power of the Hollow, the two sisters and their partners DNA digivolve to Zed Millenniumon. This power-hungry fusion is everything wrong with the dynamic between these two sisters. But they aren't the only ones that take advantage of the Hollow. The Halliwell Coven, our charmed ones, take a similar risk, allowing their partners to DNA digivolve to Covenmon. I recolored Tsukuyamon Miko mode to create this blend of traditional magic with their more modern ideologies. Eventually, the sisters, with the help of a reformed Billy, unlock the ability to level up, so to speak. So Covenmon will digivolve to Covenmon Power of 3 mode. Okay, so it's more of a mode change, but anyways, this super fun redesign of Tsukuyamon X Antibody is the culmination of everything the sisters stand for and is able to help Billy take down her too far gone sister. Billy, for her part, realizes her true power resides in her bond with her chosen family. The Jenkins family power was tainted by Christy's evil, so Billy must look past the sun and the moon to find her power among the stars. This revelation allows Projectomon to digivolve with Billy's new power source and Digigrimoire to Halomon. I recolored Luminamon to give Billy a partner who shows off her real intentions of purity and good. Halomon will take a stand against the forces of evil when it digivolves to its final form, Quantumon. I love this Mon as is to be a physical manifestation of Billy's more modern approach to witchcraft, such as her using a crystal mouse to scry via the internet. It's a great marriage of her own style with the Halliwell's teachings, and is a much better line for her since her original line was more focused on combat and helping her sister reach her goals. So, Billy's true path sees her Illusory-mon still becoming Projectomon, but moving towards her craft in a more positive manner to become Halomon and Quantumon. Now, I kind of lied when I said I was done with the Halliwell sisters. Ish. Prue obviously dies at the end of season 3, but as I mentioned before, the Charmed show continued on for a few more seasons in comic book form, where it is revealed that Prue was reincarnated in a comatose brain-dead witch known as Patience. Brain-dead sounds so harsh. That is not... Is there a better term for that? Sound off in the comics if there's a better term for somebody who is brain dead. Oops. Sorry if I offend somebody. I don't think I will, but I don't know. Patience will of course complicate things for the Charmed ones, but more on that in a moment. Prue's partner, Tabimon, is also allowed to return as well, but the magic at hand reconfigures its data, having it resume life as Huskmon. This recolor of Honeymon is not only a perfect excuse to use a new line I'm in love with, but also references what Patience kind of was for Prue, a husk. Huskmon are soulless bodies that departed Digimon can sometimes inhabit when they need to, kind of like a low-tech Mechanorimon. This Huskmon will digivolve to Poppetmon, a Kokeshimon variant who works as a great reference to Poppets, tools of the witchy trade, while continuing this theme I have laid out. Witchmon and Wickamon alike are known for working together with Poppetmon to curse or heal other Digimon around them, as Poppetmon are able to inhabit the bodies of other Digimon, essentially allowing them to translate damage or health from one to the other. Now, it is revealed that Prue's reincarnation is the reason novice witches like Billy and Christy could stand up to the power of 3, because Prue's spirit still held a fraction of it. So, in her own right, she sort of had the power of 1, drawing fragments from her original source of power. Those fragments allowed Poppetmon to digivolve to Telekinetimon. Continuing the same line, I recolored Karakurumon to create a badass ultimate for Prue/Patience to now work with. Telekinetimon are fierce combatants who use their mental abilities to swing blades of telekinetic energy around. This power only grows as Telekinetimon digivolves to Psychokinetimon. This Kaguyamon variant is known for its wisdom and mental prowess, a blind Digimon whose telekinesis knows no bounds, so far as to even become psychokinesis. Now, it is mentioned in very early seasons, Prue comes across a young budding witch, this young boy who has psychokinesis, which is the ability to move objects with their mind without having to see them. Basically, I think like robbers want to use him to rob a bank and open a safe or something. Anyways, it's really cool. I like the difference between psychokinesis and telekinesis, at least what it is in the Charmed universe. But anyways, Patience, who turns out to be Prue, is partnered with a Huskmon who becomes Poppetmon, Telekinetimon, and Psychokinetimon. Now that we have seen what became of Prue, we can move on to the men of the show, something that needed to take a backseat in this feminist powerhouse of a series. Leo Wyatt is not only the adoring husband to Piper and eventual father of her children, but also the white lighter to the Charmed ones, a guardian angel who acts as their guide and mentor. Leo is an old soul, and as such, I believe deserving of a retro Digivice model. But Leo is not alone in his quest to guide our witches. He is partnered with Shadowsmon. This recolored Bookmon perfectly captures Fount of Knowledge while also referencing the coveted Book of Shadows for the Halliwells. These Digimon are known for joining more adventurous Digimon on their journeys to log all that they witness. Shadowsmon will digivolve to Wisdomon. Another clear visual nod to the book, this Libramon recolor works to continue these themes of mentorship and guidance. Wisdomon are known for helping transcribe the many teachings of Bookmon and Shadowsmon alike. Now, as Leo's own journey progresses, he finds much more power from the elders and his fellow Whitelighters, which is why his metaphorical wings become his biggest source of power. Wisdomon will eventually digivolve to Avatarmon, a Wisemon variant who allows me to reference his brief time as an avatar. Avatarmon are ancient beings known to be amalgamations of ancient magic and code. This physical embodiment acts as a representative, or avatar, of the world's magic. Now, I really love doing this one, especially as a line with Shadowsmon and Wisdomon. I couldn't think of the name because I like the idea of like maybe one of the books popping out of Wisdomon's like bookshelf, and then Avatarmon arising out of it. Anyways, this Avatarmon will digivolve once more to become Elder Angemon. I recolored Magna Angemon Priest mode very lightly to showcase what happens to Leo's partner when he is made an Elder. This powerful Digimon is near omnipotent, but is not the only powerful form our Leo's partner will take. Leo, in the comics, is granted for a time the power to wield the Imperial Sword. This sword, along with its own set of powers, allows Elder Angemon to reach a temporary Ultra form, Imperial Angemon. I recolored Clavis Angemon, another Mon I long to see in media more, specifically video games. Hello, Time Stranger. Because this angel wields a cool sword. That works in my favor. So, Leo is partnered with a Shadowsmon who digivolves to Wisdomon, Avatarmon, Elder Angemon, and Imperial Angemon. We have two more love interests to visit, who both held the heart of Phoebe at different points in her life. But let's start with my favorite. Coop Hallowell. This gorgeous man, who of course does end up taking Phoebe's last name, possesses many abilities as a Cupid, an agent of love. He is able to harness Cupid's beam, which allows him to teleport himself and others around the world. Heartbeat steps, which allows him to travel within and through time to places of great love and also manipulate time, allowing him to step between heartbeats. Heart sense, which lets him see if someone is open to love. And Cupid's guise, which allows him to cloak himself so that his charges won't see him. This king among men is of course gifted with the Digivice of Heart, which allows Cupids to work closely with their Digimon partners. Coop himself is partnered with a Lovemon, a cute recolor of Luxmon. These little guys are known for following people after they experience heartbreak, helping them believe in companionship and love again. Lovemon will digivolve to Valentinemon, a really fun redesign of Darkmon. This angelic being continues their mission of love by helping troubled couples nurture their love from behind the scenes, reminding them of what got them together in the first place. Coop's power, of course, derives from his Cupidhood, his arrow of love always aiming true. This arrow allows Valentinemon to digivolve to Cupidmon. That's right, this recolor of Angemon is a reuse of one of my favorite recolors I did for my Totally Spies video. Go check that out, it's really good in my opinion. And is just too perfect to pass up. I mean, this is literally a Cupid's line. Cupidmon will reach her final form though as she digivolves to Queen Cupidmon, a Digimon of legend. This Angemon X Antibody recolor is thought to be the queen of all Cupids, their power drawing from her everlasting love. So, Coop will be partnered with Lovemon, who will digivolve to Valentinemon, Cupidmon, and Queen Cupidmon. Ready for my hot take of the century? I hate Cole Turner, or more so what his storyline represents and becomes. Throughout the series, it is referenced that magic and powers can't make someone evil, but how they use them. They built Cole up to be this reformed half-demon just to say his power corrupted him once more, and I hate that. It's literally an entire storyline with the Firestarter that Piper and Leo kind of take in for a little bit, where his powers do not make him evil. Just because they're destructive or maybe they come from a different source, it does not make him evil, which is what, Piper references when she shows him her destructive power. So just for them to throw all of that away, to be like, oh, Cole's actually evil because he used his powers and his powers are evil. No. But anyways, I didn't like it. He also felt like a too often used tug at Phoebe's heartstrings to just re-traumatize her over and over and over again. Like, Jesus Christ. That being said, though, he is an ancient being who earned his place on this list, so with a dark Digivice in hand, Cole works with his partner, Dracumon, to infiltrate the Halliwell's lives. Now, Dracumon is a great dark Digimon partner, as is, so I have no need to change him. He will, however, Digivolve to Hellhoundmon when Phoebe is in danger, unlocking a power that Cole hadn't realized he possessed. This Sanglutmon recolor draws on his love for Phoebe to create the perfect champion for Dracumon. Now, as I touched on before, Cole is not just a human lawyer, but is also half demon. Balthazar is a high-level threat to the Charmed Ones, and even though Cole tries to be good, he is eventually led back down the path of demonic influence. Under this influence, Hellhoundmon will Digivolve to Felismon, a truly great demonic Digimon to take hold of Cole's dark powers. Felismon will eventually take his side by Cole, now the source of all evil, as he Digivolves to Beelzemon. No recoloring needed once again, as this Mon is the perfect partner to the source. It also gives a nod to Cole's short stint on the side of good, as Beelzemon is seen in the Digimon Tamers anime, being a hand for the forces of good and truth in the end. Kind of what I wish Cole became. So, our tortured, if not overused, demonic hottie is partnered with a Dracumon who will become Hellhoundmon, Felismon, and Beelzemon. So, there you have it, folks. This was our foray into a Charmed and Digimon crossover. I had a lot of fun doing this, so if y'all liked it, I'm more than happy to tackle other niche or nostalgic crossovers. Some of you may have noticed I left out a lot of characters in this video because there's just a ton. I mean, there's the other witches they're introduced to, there's Daryl, there's Andy. Oh my god, there's so many. We are introduced to other White Lighters. We are introduced to other demons, other bad guys. The children of the Charmed Ones, all of them actually have a lot more lore, especially with the comics. So if you guys want to, sound off in the comments and I'll do a part 2 eventually. I'm going to have to do a lot more research. I will say there is kind of a partner-ish video to this that I'll be doing where I'm unboxing a particular thing that I was able to get that's related to Charmed. So I'm planning on doing a rewatch of the series like stat. So, you know, that's how it is. But anyways, like I said, I'll do a part 2 of this eventually. As always, if you liked my content or this video in particular, please subscribe, like, and or comment. Also, feel free to check out my TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Twitter, linked below. Beneath that, you'll find a link invite to our Discord channel, so feel free to hop in and join the 282. Thanks again for watching, though, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!
I love Charmed, okay? I know this video didn't make any sense because Digimon and Charmed are two very different, IPs, but I love Charmed, okay? I will use any excuse to talk about it because it is one of my hyperfixations alongside Digimon. So, yeah, deal, I guess.
That was long.